Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Sayyid FAROOQ Hassan is back with a new episode of Sky is the Limit. We are in the month of October, and I'm sure all of you recognize it like Pinktober also. Why do we call it Pinktober? Because this is the month where we observe the World Breast Cancer Awareness. Certain organizations, like they hold special functions, seminars, symposiums to create awareness about this ugly disease, the breast cancer. Pakistan has also been affected by it, and I am today pleased to introduce my guest as a pioneer of establishing the first federal breast cancer screening center in Islamabad in PIMS. She was the project director, and incidentally this is the only breast cancer screening center at government level that we have in the country. Dr. Ayesha Isani she did her MBBS obviously, then she did Master of Public Health, MPH, and also she is a Doctor of Philosophy. She is a PhD doctor also, in addition to being an MBBS doctor. A very, very enterprising and dynamic professional, always on the outlook for new initiatives to cater to public sector, public health. Let's welcome Dr. Ayesha Isani. Assalamu alaikum, Dr.
Assalamu alaikum, FAROOQ. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. What a pleasure to have you here. Dr. Sahaba, October, World Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We celebrate the whole month, and specifically a few days also where we have a lot of seminars and symposiums to create awareness. You were instrumental in establishing the first ever breast cancer screening center in Pakistan at government level. We're going to talk about that also, but I was just going through your profile and I read that in addition to your MBBS, you've done a PhD also. So usually people struggle to get one doctorate. You've done two, one is an MBBS and one is a PhD. So what was this thirst for hunger which made you do another PhD? We're going to talk about all that, but first of all, let's start from the basics, from the fundamentals. So basically, Isani, I believe are you from Balochistan? Can you tell us something about your early childhood?
Okay. So I belong to Sindh. I belong to district Shikarpur and Tehsil Gadi Yasin. So our village is called Baddo. It's there just in the Tehsil. It's a small village. It is our family. The Isanis have been there for a couple of 100 years. My father is the senior most now in the tribe, and the entire village has these 4 beautiful havelis which I'd like you to invite you, and they are the family tribes, and then of course the circumference is the village and the villagers, without which one is nothing. It is right in the interior of Sindh, and I'd like to say one of the most needy areas. I mean, we know Balochistan has some, Sindh has some, but there are some which are high priority. So in Shikarpur district, this Tehsil Gadi Yasin is at the border of Balochistan. Hence, you were thinking that it's
okay. I just thought that.
So it is there.
So you were born there.
Yes. So
and early schooling and all.
So
also?
I was born in Khairpur. My father was there as deputy commissioner. So born in Sindh as well, and early schooling was at St. Joseph's in Karachi. Then we moved here to Islamabad, did a bit of thing at ICB, I'll proudly say, at the
Islamabad College for Boys?
For boys, just here, just at the back.
Okay, and at that time they had co-education?
Yes, they had co-education till class 5, and the officers then were very frugal. He was joint secretary in education, and he said, "Do bacche hain, I've got a brother, and both are going to go together in the same school."
Okay.
So I went to the boys' school.
Okay.
And after class 5, we then he got posted as chief secretary to KPK, a frontier then, and my rest of my schooling was there in the Presentation Convent. So an entire 360
variety of different provinces, different exposures.
Yes, and did my metric and FSC from there. Then again back here, did my medicine from Rawalpindi Medical College.
RMC.
And then as my fellowship and all says, so then I'm a fellow of the Royal College of Radiologists, got married at a very early age.
Okay.
Hence, which should be appreciated, I think, for
Was it
for
some
being able to
traditional
do.
like kind of
I think
arrangement?
it's yes, a traditional arrangement, but you know, like my father, they have all of these. Whatever come may, you know, our father's generation have that
Yeah,
thing,
the values
the
and
values and the
cultural.
conservative and
Yeah.
all that. And so, you know, as parents and fathers, especially of our generation, fathers, were very conservative, and they felt that, you know, you're a doer and you can do all of the things together. Then moving ahead from there, I took a break, 6-year break. I'd like my female colleagues to not, I wanted to share it, so they should not lose heart. You see, there was a time when I had to give priority to certain things. My husband's career, he was in districts, and then he needed the family to be there. And so for 6 years I didn't. But when I went back, we got posted to Karachi, and then there was no stopping me from there. And I think Karachi was at that time very scary. I last lived in Bajor agency.
Okay.
Can you imagine living in Bajor agency for a year inside the house, not going out? You know how this is the late 90s.
That was out of your own accord or because
No,
you're.
because my husband was posted there.
Ah, so yeah. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
so
Okay.
I did. So,
And when did you do your PhD?
so my PhD is just like last year.
Okay. And what was your thesis on?
So my thesis was health system strengthening,
Okay.
and that was using breast cancer screening as an interventional approach.
Wow.
But what
Okay.
I'd like to also mention is my fellowship from London. I am a fellow of the Royal College of Radiologists. So my first qualification things, I went back to work in 2000, and 2003 London, I did my qualifications, got through in 2009. And when I came back here, I was in the service from 2003, and when I came back here, I felt that everybody lives in silos and boxes. So I did a master's in public health. Why not connect with the people?
Ah.
Doesn't mean that you're a radiologist, so you're just stuck behind a computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just, and this is Pakistan, this is a low middle income country. Let's interact, find their problems.
Yeah.
And that is when I realized that what a menace breast cancer was.
Okay, we're going to talk about breast cancer in detail, but so coming back to your school days, were you like an active, extrovert, naughty kind of a kid,
Yeah,
or were you the teacher's pet and a very obedient, you know, like studious and, you know, bookworm kind of a person?
I am a combination of both, FAROOQ. I must hats off to you. How did you, that naughty bit you guessed correctly. I was a tomboy and a leader, NCC commander, president of this society, head girl of my convent. Debates, all of that bit. And yet, very good in academics. I topped the Peshawar board in my metric exam. It was metric then.
And how many siblings did you have?
So I just have a brother.
You just have a brother?
Just a brother and me. He's 2 years younger.
He's the younger brother. And who influenced you most during your early childhood and growing up?
Yes, my father.
Your father?
I'll be very honest, yes.
Okay, okay. And you always used to look up to him, and he, you know, motivated you to participate in different, you know, like sports and extracurricular activities and all that stuff.
And it was always unspoken, have to be the best in everything.
Okay, okay. And then after your intermediate, you know, so you wanted to become a doctor right from childhood, or was it something your father instilled in you?
I'll be honest, it'll be something. So I loved English literature as well. I was very good at mathematics, English literature, and sciences and all subjects. But you know, I loved English literature as well. But then my father, wo zamana tha when, you know, that was the time when people, you had to be, you know, the daughter's becoming a doctor, the son's becoming an engineer.
And and chartered accountant. These are the three professions.
That was it.
So you were influenced by that.
Yes.
But if you had your own choice, you would have been someone else.
Yeah, well, maybe like, but I've got a strong streak of science in me. So I think only literature would not have satisfied me. So I have that thing from the beginning, you know, for research, for things like that. So I think I got into the right calling, though guided by my father. I think this was, I would have maybe been a purely PhD researcher then, otherwise.
Okay, okay.
Not a
something
MBBS
to do with education and books and everything.
Yes.
All right. So once you got into RMC, and that's a life of its own, I believe, you know, your student life, and when you get exposure to Grey's Anatomy and other
Yeah.
books, and it's tough studies and group studies, and then you have to manage your extracurricular activities also. How was that experience?
Yes, so that was very nice. But I kept on missing Peshawar because I was brought up there for like 8 years. And I used to say I would like to go to, I would have liked to go to Khyber Medical College. But like things like that. But it was a life in itself. I got married in medical school.
Oh,
So that
okay.
was a whole new turn for me as well.
And you had committed before that you're going to complete your studies and everything. There was no
No,
pressure from your in-laws or anything.
no. Yeah, they were very nice. My husband's also very nice. So, but my father, as I said initially, I think he had it in his mind, and we were the all very obedient kids. I think our generation was very obedient. So, got married. I even had my daughter was born in third year of
Mashallah.
medical school, but continued, did my house job, everything with my batch,
Okay.
and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why radiology?
Yeah.
Like what was the...
Gee. So when I was getting back on my feet, and this was 2000, and my father was on the board of the Aga Khan University, and I was trying to find my feet. We'd just gotten to Karachi, and he said, everybody's talking about radiology nowadays there, and everybody's talking about MRI and CT scans and things like that. So that's a good option. I was thinking of options.
Okay.
I might have veered towards surgery, maybe like pure surgery. But then I realized that it has physics, it has all of that mathematical connotations, yet the images, yet the patients as well. So that was something, but I said, I'm going to do my fellowship. And I got help. There were a lot of people mentoring me. I'd like to specially mention Sultan FAROOQ Saab, because my father reached out, my daughter's become just a housewife. Let's get her back on track.
Yeah.
This is a reality. And he said she should just come to the CPSP college, and she should study there. And I will put her in the grid with people who are well versed. And then Rashid Sahab, Dr. Rashid Ahmed, the pioneer of radiology at Liaquat National, and he just put me there. So in the mornings I was there at Liaquat National, and I was there as part of his team.
So your
For a
house job
year.
and all, and your professional thing was initially in Karachi. So
No,
after
so my house
graduating,
job, no, after house job, I was there in Frontier again,
Okay.
and I was there in so this was Haripur, Peshawar, Mansehra, Bajaur.
okay.
So that was the 5 or 6 years I did not go back into studies. House job was here in Islamabad.
Okay,
I
and then you
finished it
took a
at
6-year
Family in
gap, and then you rejoined.
Then, and this is Karachi now, 2000 onwards.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And I had lovely mentors, and I can never, forget them, because opportunity ki baat hoti hai. There was a time I had this hunger to do something, I had this thirst, as you say, but I got the best mentors. I think one of the best radiologists of Pakistan, and American board, and then there was no stop. But I said I'm going to do a degree abroad. It's a challenge for me. I don't want to. I just wanted to. And he said, "Beta, I remember President of the CPSP said, it's going to take you 6-8 years, and you'll be crying, and it'll be so tough. You're training here, you're giving the exams." And I said, "No, I'm going to do it."
I'm going to do it, and you did it.
And I did
And that was your dedication. Okay, so how did you? When did you move back to Islamabad to
Yes.
PIMS, and how did you get involved with the breast cancer awareness campaign, or the
Yeah.
you know?
So moved back here. We moved back in 2003. That was a very lucky year for me, I'd like to say. I did my part 1 FRCR. I was there in Karachi, I'd gone. And also in Karachi, I gave the exam for the FPSC of the PIMS medical officers. Aced both. And we got transferred back here. And then started at PIMS. 2009, when I finished my thing from London, I used to go there for exams, did my sessions, trainings there. I did 3-month stints, 1-month stints to be at par with international students, which are not only the British, it was the Chinese, the Indians, the Australians. I had to compete with the whole world and do that exam.
Wow.
So when I came back and here, so then, when you see that exposure, I think, I lived at the Indian YMCA.
Oh.
I was the only Muslim girl, the only Muslim actually,
Okay.
who was there for 3 months. I lived at the Indian YMCA, and it was the best possible
Which city was this?
experience. And this is main London, because college, it was behind the college, so it was best. You were there studying, you used to go on courses, come back, you had everybody from the world staying there.
Okay.
And
So that was good cultural and international exposure.
Yes. And that made me realize there's so much more one can do in the world than just your job or your exam or just. And then I straight away got admission in 2010 in my Masters of Public Health. 2013, my project came up in PIMS. It was a sick project. I'm sorry to say, things regarding women's health, women imaging are never prioritized. Even to date, it's just recently we've taken up, but on ground actual work. And I had my MPH, Masters in Public Health. And then, I was sitting in this meeting and they said, let's reappropriate the money somewhere else. And who's going to do breasts? What is breast cancer awareness? But I said, can you just give me a chance, please? And there were gentlemen there who believed in me, and I still remember my JED said, let's give Dr. Ayesha a chance. 1 saal dete hain. Projects just come to us. We have time till 30th June. If she delivers, fine. If she doesn't, then we'll reappropriate. This is by the grace of God and all, and I delivered.
This was 2000?
This is 2013.
13. Okay.
2013.
So they gave you a separate place within the...
No, so there was nothing on ground. We'll have shoots and all that later, but you'll see there was nothing. It was that concept, a PC1 it's called. So a PC1, a document which said you have to give awareness to women, then you have to make a dedicated center and set up everything and make it sustainable. This was the whole crux, and we had this time of 4 years. 1 year had already passed, it was in the ministry, nothing was happening, etc. And when it came also, it was hardly 3.5 years actually I had. Half the year had already gone by.
Okay.
Yes. So when it came, I made a action plan, right, till the building comes about. Why should I just not go in for the awareness? That was the first time in 2013. There was no concept of breast awareness.
But now we do have a lot of seminars and symposiums at the highest level, like Pink Tober and Pink Ribbon campaign and all.
But at that time, and especially in the public sector, there was no mammography machine even there. So we got the equipment, but before that, for 2 years, we made the plan, which is also part of the PhD thesis, was that you go to target the BHUs and the RHCs, urban or rural में divide Islamabad. फिर BHUs and RHCs master train the lady health workers, train the people there, have sessions upon sessions. We've got 13 BHUs, we've got 3 RHCs, trained 364 LHWs, had around in the initial thing of 2 years, 20,000 women in the initial 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Did that.
And this is from all over Pakistan?
So this was all of ICT and whoever was settled here. And then the schools, colleges, universities.
Okay.
So because we had one mammography machine, can you believe it? Women never used to even come. We did not have a dedicated building. But in 2015, the dedicated building was completed. Side by side building was being made. Side by side we were telling them, come on, it's free. And what I'd like to highlight it's the first public sector setup. It's the first totally free mammography setup. Still today,
anyone can just walk in, any woman can walk in and get herself tested.
No.
At any point in time.
At any point of time. We work in OPD hours 8 to 2. Even if you come at 10 minutes to 2, you will be entertained.
Otherwise, next day you will be entertained.
Yes, but if you come after 2, then I'll be
obviously,
on 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And then then women started coming in.
Okay, and what's the footfall now?
So now, हमारे पास we've done more than 10,000 mammograms, more than 20,000 ultrasounds, detected 1,800 breast cancers, and reached out to 50,000 women.
And do you support in, like, whoever gets positive testing, do you support in getting their treatment done?
Yes. So we do everything. So we do mammogram for 40 years and above. We follow the American College of Radiology guidelines. That's for the youngest age women are in the American College. And I believe we meet that here. Then the ultrasound, right? Then the biopsies and the fine needle aspirations. All of that is done here. And once their reports come in, even on our mammography ultrasound reports, we know it's cancerous. And it's nearly 95% of the times it turns out to be
Cancer.
like that.
And are there cancer treatment centers?
Yes. So at the moment we refer them to PIMS. We are lucky. We are located within PIMS. We've got a surgical team. We're dedicated. We've got very good breast surgeons, and who have done their a year, 2 years masters also in UK after the things.
Wow.
So these girls they're excellent. We just refer them. And then once they see our reports and the whole thing, then there's a discussion. It's called a multidisciplinary thing in which we, the surgeon and the oncologist sit. So there are two routes, either straight away surgery or chemotherapy and then surgery.
Great. We're going to talk about it in detail in the second half of the program. And also, I would like to know that this disease existed for so many years. But it's only after 2015 when the center was established, 2013, and people started coming in. So what did people used to do before that? So you have to answer that also. And secondly, it was a major shift from your radiology to a totally different world. How was that transition and how did you take it?
Okay. So it's not a transition. It's a fusion. And I say this everywhere. It's a fusion. You have to grow up, grow out. Even for all my surgeon colleagues, my oncologists, you have to grow out of the box. And our aim is you help the maximum number of people. And when you want to do that, you just do a fusion. So for me, public health and radiology was the fusion, and the end result was a breast screening center with awareness, a public health domain, and the actual facility of the mammography, which is a radiology domain. So there's a fusion there. What's happening here is you have, I'm sorry, but all these lectures and all of that on it. But when everybody they come to me, they say, what we ask all these people is, where are the facilities? We can't afford them. There is no facility. Just go to this private setup, go to that private
just giving
setup.
Awareness and no solution is no good.
And that I have realized, especially in the past few years, there is massive awareness that people are getting feared. They're getting feared in their heightened awareness because they don't know where to go. And there is not enough. So what the government or these people or the philanthropists, NGOs, whatever, you have to realize you have, do the awareness, but give them the facility. And that is where it is not being realized.
The balance is not there.
No, it's not. And they expect, people can't afford. And screening, remember, means woman getting herself examined. That is the beauty. What is here now is diagnostic. Diagnostic is lump feel, you're feeling something and you're going, One thing is, every year, every woman above 40 has the right for mammography, and the younger ones have their right to come for their ultrasounds if they feel something. But screening is actually across the board for all women above 40.
Great. Two important questions. First, what were the major challenges, problems, difficulties you faced in rolling out this initiative, a very, very critical, first of its kind initiative? So you tell us about that. And secondly, linked to this is that there's a certain taboo associated with breast cancer awareness campaigns and treatment and all that. How do you dispel that so that women feel safe and normal in coming up to you and discussing their issues?
So the difficulties of it. Before I start enumerating that, I'd like to really mention by name my husband, who also had a big role. My education, of course, because remember, got married at hardly 19 or 20
you weren't
years
a doctor
old.
at that time.
No, I was a student. His thing, and then his support for the project as well. So twofold. So why here? So you're there and you're against this whole huge, massive crowd who are predominantly men. No criticism, but they really don't. You understand it.
The gravity of the situation.
Gravity of the situation. So that was my first thing. I was working in a situation where all my senior colleagues were like that, and this is a new idea 10 years ago, honestly, and nobody was. So that was what I had. The ministry bit, I would like to say yes initially, because now I'm a professor senior. At that time I was associate professor. I got help from his end also, colleagues, other colleagues. So that was the thing there also. So your own institute needs to support you, but your ministry needs to support you. They need to realize there is a thing as gender balance and all that. Balki, interestingly, Farooq, what I'd like to say, I think there was more gender balance 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Now I feel there's more resistance. आप कहते हैं ना, what was initial resistance? Honestly,
So
there is more resistance to women and women-related things now.
that's what you feel?
Yeah.
That's a
Because
perception.
now, though I am at a position in which I actually should not be there at all. But I feel that anything related, or you can even see whole syndicates of universities without a single woman in them. And education and health is women.
Okay, my perception is somewhat different. I personally feel that I think over the last decade or two, a lot of women have come up in leadership roles, and Pakistani females, because I'm doing this program, I've been interviewing a lot of talented professional females who've brought laurels to the country, and they're doing such an amazing job and in good leadership positions.
But where? That also. So everywhere but the public sector.
Okay,
Bas.
yeah, that
So
you
that's
can.
what okay, maybe that clarifies.
Yeah, that clarifies it a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first challenge was to get the buy-in,
Yes,
because
the
of the like preconceived notions,
yes.
or the like that kind of an attitude. What the others in rolling out the project, like
Yeah,
getting
so-
funds, getting the right team, cooperation from other departments? How was that?
So initially the funding was a PSDP. So from the planning ministry, this was a funded project. So the funding was there. The rolling out problems were basically for other departments not kind of accepting a new intervention also in the hospital. They would send them, well, women were being sent to atomic energy or to private, to Shifa or something, where the facility was right under their roof. It's changed now. That has changed. That hurdle has changed. Then rolling out, of course, when you're a mid-level, your own bosses and all that, I'll be honest, I mean, for them, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do? Why do
you need to create a new elephant?
a new, yes, a new aim, a new vision. Why can't you be like the rest of us? Why don't you come for a tea break? I'll be honest. But these are realities. You've
No,
got a
I'm
reality
glad you're
show.
sharing.
Yeah. And why can't you take that half an hour or 1 hour like break and come and just be there in the tea room? Why are you workaholic? Why are you workaholic? So these are things, and these were things also a lot from the women colleagues as well. It was surprising. It was for women.
Yeah.
But
It is a
believe me,
women-centric
yeah,
initiative.
Yeah, but believe me that the lack of support was equally from both.
Okay, so that was the major hurdle that
the
you
major
faced.
hurdle, because anything new again in the public sector is not digested. I don't know why.
Although it's for benefit of humankind.
Yeah, like the new cancer hospital project, for example, I've with great difficulty. For 7 years I was pursuing it. Got it.
So one major challenge was basically the attitude issue that you faced
Yeah.
from your different professionals or colleagues, in getting this smooth rollout of this initiative.
Yeah.
And any other time-wise, funds-wise,
no. So
effort-wise, team-wise, they were also cooperative, supportive.
Fund-wise, etc., there was no issue at all, because we did it within the fund. We actually saved 30 million
Okay.
and gave it back.
Wow.
Because
I think this first of a kind.
Initiative. Can you imagine? It was a 225 million rupees project, and for the ICT territory, and this is a post-devolution project, and I saved 30 million and returned it to the exchequer.
Wow.
Yes.
And
team?
what do you want to say about the taboo that goes around or is associated with breast cancer,
Yes. So the taboo.
especially in rural areas?
Yeah. So the taboo, initially I felt, yes, they would like to come 10 years ago and whisper in your ear that we have this
Issue.
take you to the side. Even the students in the school, they wouldn't ask in the girls forum. Especially the school girls, then they would go to a corner. But now if you go, they will just stand up and ask. So that's a big
That's a
big
big.
improvement.
So I think by creating awareness of a sensitive issue in a focused and like detailed way,
Yes.
there is a possibility of removing any kind of taboos associated with it.
Yeah,
That
yes,
helps.
that
Yeah,
helps a
and
lot.
and this kind of a disease which has made so many lives miserable,
Yes.
or has caused a lot of devastation, can be controlled to quite an extent if we give the proper kind of awareness
Yes.
and a solution for
And a
it.
solution,
Right?
beautifully put.
So, we are in conversation with Dr. Ayesha Isani, who was the project director of the first ever public sector breast cancer awareness project here at PIMS in Islamabad. We are going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sky's the Limit. I am FAROOQ HASAN and I am in conversation with Dr. Ayesha Isani. Dr. Saba, tell me one thing. It's great work that you've done. You've established the first public sector breast cancer awareness center, and it's doing very well. But why and how is it that there is only one such facility in the whole of Pakistan? Why not in Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar, Quetta, and how is it possible that we can replicate this successful model?
A very apt question and close to my heart. So initially, before devolution, there were 5 such setups, one in Islamabad and 4 in each of the provincial capitals. After devolution, the provinces didn't take this up, and however, thankfully, in the federal capital, this center remained viable, was taken up, and this whole project, the huge mega project, just got revised to Islamabad only.
Because of devolution?
Because of devolution.
Because health became a provincial subject.
Okay. And now it is for the provinces to take this up. And I keep on advocating that you might have a lot of rhetoric and sessions, but you need such a center, at least in the capitals of the provinces, which is like Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar and Quetta, and even ahead from there, the data and the statistics which I have, which are actual statistics. I mean, people have statistics of ill people. I have population-based statistics, which has knowledge, attitude, practices statistics, which has genetic statistics. It shows that this sort of center should be at district level. And my message, FAROOQ, would be to governments, even if they do one a year, I mean, I think they can just take out 200 million. Yeah, 200 million and do it, put it in the premises of or nearby a tertiary care. You will have a team from there. It does not take that much of effort and everything, and not even that much of cost on maintaining it.
No, but you're talking about the awareness centers, right?
No. I'm talking about a similar replicated breast cancer screening center with a mammography machine, ultrasound machine, and people who do communication, do the awareness, plus give them the solution.
And once it is detected, then they can go to the nearest.
Yes, you just just do a co-linking of there. There's not an issue, but the problem is there is no early detection. When there will be no early detection, then the treatment, cure, and the end mortality, morbidity all gets affected. We need to detect at stage 1, maximum 2. Even 2 is
How many patients have you screened in this center that you've opened till now?
So we have
on average.
Average, I'll tell you, for the past years, so a total of 30,000 patients.
30,000 patients.
30,000, which is inclusive of mammography for the 40 years and above. All of them undergo their ultrasounds, and then in addition, the younger ones who are not in the age group of mammography, but they have issues, they also got screened.
And how many of them are actually suffering from breast cancer?
Yes, so around 1,800 to 2,000. Can you imagine? So up, you just see. So we fall in not even 1 into every 8 women. It is literally coming to 1 in every 7 women now.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. So this is as
This
serious.
is as serious as that. And please, a district level intervention. Why can't the DHQ have, okay, let's not make a huge center. Why can't the DHQ dedicate a room for a mammography machine?
Yeah.
Have they have ultrasound machine already?
Okay.
Mammography is like an X-ray machine. It's not that much. You can have a 2D digital one. Even that, those costs are, you buying other CT scans are there, and everything is there. But for women, the mammography machine will not be there at district.
Ayesha, tell me, what is that specific area or hotspot in Pakistan from where you get most of the
Yes.
patients?
So Kashmir.
Azad Kashmir?
Azad Kashmir.
Okay.
And I am getting the youngest patients from there, the ones with most breast cancer. I have even detected and done biopsy of our 21-year-old. That day, even the youngest was actually a 20-year-old. And I couldn't believe it. And there are these young girls, it doesn't matter whether they're married, unmarried, it's the age. And even in the married ones, जो concept है co-sanguineous marriages है, their marriage, their parents were related even that is not the issue. So I think it is something in the environment, and I would really like to actually, we need to establish a center there and do that bit of research. I've got linkages, and I'm now doing it with the university at Muzaffarabad, with people there, that let us find the reason. Is it the ionizing radiation there?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it something in the soil? Is it in the water? So the three most common things. So soil growth.
So that's what I wanted to ask. That was my next question. What are the main causes of breast cancer? How do you get breast cancer?
Yeah. So breast cancer is mutation of genes which leads to increased proliferation of these abnormal cells, and you get these lumps, and which usually in the form of masses, and then they spread to other parts of the body. Now the mutation of these genes has triggering factors, just in which there are factors like ionizing radiations, there's obesity, lifestyle, stress, these things, not here but abroad, alcohol intake, etc. That is more for the Western world. Now see, we do not have that factor here. Abroad it's a big factor. But then what are we having? Pollutants in the environment, which is, you see the levels, the toxic levels, Lahore, for example, other cities where they are monitored. But in these areas, and also very interestingly in this FATA sort of thing and GB, so the areas at the borders, remember there's been long drawn war happening also in Afghanistan. And I also feel that breast cancer and another disease like lymphoma, and I see a lot of these patients, Afghani patients also coming in with that, because it's a porous border. They come in. Islamabad is the first
for the
place
treatment,
for the treatment.
and a good hospital.
Yes,
Okay.
and good.
Okay.
And so there, all these radioactive, God only knows. But I think we seriously need to look, especially now in Azad Jammu Kashmir, we need to look for these factors which are causing these genes to mutate.
Okay, that's a very important observation, and I'm sure people at the helm of affairs who are watching this program also would pay heed to it. So basically, tell me one thing, Ayesha, is this breast cancer treatable, or God forbid if some women develops breast cancer, then it's an incurable disease?
No. So breast cancer is treatable, but it needs to be caught spot on in stage 1. Stage 1 has 99%
success rate.
Success story, and we call it 5-year survival rate. So that has a 99%. Even a stage 2 has like between 95 and 98% and things. So but when you go to 3, it goes down to 70%, and when the 4 in which these patients are coming,
Stage 4.
Stage 4. So that is like 50%, 45, 50. So 3 and 4 is what is the common presentation generally in our country.
Okay.
So sad.
And another question that I wanted to ask was that The whole world recognizes this issue. Now we have a World Breast Cancer
Yeah.
Awareness Month. Pinktober,
Yes.
it's called Pink Ribbon
Yes.
Campaign. It's a growing campaign, and then we celebrate day also.
Yes.
Usually, 8th October
8th
is
of October.
celebrated as or observed as World Breast Cancer
Yes.
Awareness Day. There are so many other diseases also, like including in cancer also.
Yes.
You have different cancers. Why has this cancer been singled out and being given so much importance globally? That's what I wanted to ask.
Because this cancer, according to all our WHO statistics from around the world, is the #1 cancer in women. So you see, women make up what, half of your population, half of the world's population. So this is the #1 cancer in half of your world's population.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's why it is being given so
Yes.
much, and there are being efforts afoot to
Yes,
get this under control.
Yes, so if it's happening because of this mutation, okay, you try and eliminate risk factors, you educate people for healthy. But if they do get this mutation, right, then you catch it early detection.
And that
That's
can
the
only
key.
happen with the kind of screening centers
Yes.
that you have.
Yes, you need
and
screening.
breaking the taboos and encouraging women to come up
Come.
and discuss this
Yes.
issue. Yeah.
Yes, I have an all-female, the Federal Breast Cancer Screening Center, in addition of being totally free of cost, has an all-female member in sync with our cultural sensitivities, I'd say. So we have girl receptionists, so people feel even more nicer. Then we've got all of us, we have female doctors, then our technicians are also females. So the moment they walk in, there's a nice place for men to sit, and they just come in
To
and
accompany
they have
the women.
yes. And now I feel very heartened that I see pairs of women coming in, a mother and a daughter, two sisters, two something. So because word of mouth, and I
Yep.
think word of mouth, FAROOQ, has helped me the most.
Okay.
When you give services, they talk to others and people
Great.
people come in. And men also, also to add that 1% of men who have breast cancer are also undergo the same protocols in our place setup. And but thankfully we have seen less of those
Okay.
so there is not that
Okay.
much here.
What are your future plans regarding this campaign? How do you want to expand it, or where do you want to go from here?
I'd like more and more help from philanthropy. I like to specially mention the American embassy here. There's a friend of mine, and she wrote out a grant. They all come in. They saw the work. They believe in. They kind of interacted with the women, and wrote out a grant from there. And I got a foreign service. Their sort of a category of grant. It is $4,000. But why does it mean so much to me? Because though everything is free, that one monopty needle, the biopsy needle, is not free. It is not available at the hospital. And even if you do, I think hospital cannot also afford to give it free. I'll be honest. It's 10,000 rupees, the cost of that. If you send these patients away, they will never come back. Hardly 10-20% will come back. The cost of coming, the trauma, the anxiety, all these factors, but the cost. So for this, I'd like to reach out to the philanthropic community. The government has done its bit. All of this is pro bono. We are doing it's part of our job as well. And this beautiful infrastructure which is there, seeing is believing, with an atrium, please come up ahead. A small little thing like doing this, I mean, if I could get bigger philanthropy, I would like to have a van. I have 2 mammography machines. Why shouldn't I put one on and just go to the BHUs now?
Okay. So you want to expand it in this respect.
Yes.
Okay.
Other expansion which has already happened is we've done 300 patients through a project for BRCA1, BRCA2 gene mutations, and this test costs something between 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees because it is still being sent abroad. We did it in collaboration with Qajar University. The results have come. So I have space there. I want to set up a subsidized laboratory there. okay, not totally free, but at minimal cost. So the blood sample, we can tell them, and this will help generation. Remember, when the mother knows she has a mutation, then the daughter has the chance of getting the breast cancer. She will be more vigilant in her follow-up.
Okay.
Yes, so
Great,
it's very,
great.
very important. You have breast cancer pedigree clinics now. So, you know, it is not only the one who is affected, it is their daughters also who come in for their checkups.
Fair enough, fair
Yes,
enough. You were talking about your PhD and your linkage
Yeah.
between this initiative and your PhD. I'd like you to, you know, like on the closing side, just wrap that up. And also, I would like you to brief us about any latest innovations in this
Yeah.
field globally.
So, one of the latest innovations which we've also got there, so we are trying to bring in artificial intelligence in the reading of mammographies. So, when our van and things goes out, we are linked here, we've got the system set up at the center, and we just need that bit of linkage, and we've got already the software is reading all of this. So, that is the latest innovation. Everywhere in the world, in radiology, you need artificial intelligence, in medicine, surgery, and we have that at our place. So, my PhD is related directly to the center. It is health system strengthening by in the post-evolution scenario using breast cancer screening as an interventional approach.
Okay.
And I think the actual work, and there could be nothing more accurate and satisfying than turning into a research. We have umpteen papers. We've also looked at the knowledge attitude practices of women, looked at the needs, the results, and in addition to that, there's so many children from Islamic University, others, undergrads, MPhils, PhDs, and it's a hub of research and academia, which has made it, you know, which is so satisfying.
Yeah, I personally feel, I think this global awareness campaign has done a lot of good for Pakistan also.
Yes.
We've managed to uncover a lot of patients who never knew they were patients, and you know, doctors were instrumental in treating them. So yes, this is a menace, and we need to control it, and we need to make more initiatives, create more centers like these, more treatment places like these for the public, for the population of Pakistan, to have a better future. Dr. Saba, it was a pleasure talking to you. But before we sign off, I'd like you to speak to all our audience, and specifically the young girls who would be watching you, and what kind of a message would you like to give to them?
Just what I'd like to say is, just please come to me, come to us. And we are a team there, we are like your family, we are waiting for you. You just have to take the initiative of coming to us, and then it is our responsibility.
Rest will be taken care of.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so very much, Dr. Ayesha. It was a pleasure talking to you. Viewers, with this we come to the end of this episode of Sky is the Limit. I hope you enjoyed it. Inshallah, I will see you in another exciting episode with a brand new guest. Till then, Allah Hafiz.